Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Angelica and we're going to be doing readings today. So may this find the right people at the right time. Use your discernment, use your intuition. If something resonates, take it. If it doesn't, leave it. For those who it does resonate with, don't force it, don't fight it. There's no reason to. Also, I was guided by Spirit to also explain how, if you're watching this, for me, I am an energy worker. There will be movement in energy. I do help to alchemize. I do help others to alchemize energy. I do help others to move into a higher frequency. Okay, so there is energy work, just so you know. If that is something that you wish to opt out of, please use your own discernment and your own choice to do so. Okay, now that we are all set, let's get into the reading. Okay, so I already pulled all of the cards. What I was getting when I was just now sitting with the reading is there is a sacred path awakening. There is a sacred path unfolding for those who are watching this. Okay. The Shield Maiden comes out to, this is about making plans and focusing, right? This is, she ready for battle. Now take it as it resonates, right? Because there are many of us who resonate with the term light warrior, light worker, or just the term warrior. I'm a warrior. You got that, definitely got that energy down. There's also a balance there. There's also a balance here that I want to bring into light, bring into some illumination of, there comes a time when we need to put down our swords, and the sword instead becomes strategy. The sword instead becomes clarity. The sword instead becomes truth. The sword instead becomes embodiment, alignment. Those, if you know, you know. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, then you got it. It's not always about fighting, right? We're here to fight by aligning. Now, those of you who it is in your path, in your soul mission to fight, I would encourage you to sit with what is inspiring the fighting. Is it your soul calling, your soul awakening, alignment, or is it trauma? Is it ancestral baggage? I just want to encourage some mindful and conscious thought about where this energy of fighting comes from. Because if we keep fighting and fighting and fighting, all that's ever going to do is encourage more fighting. At some point, we have to align, make plans, and focus. This is a frequency war, right? The spiritual war that we're in, it's a frequency war. So if your vibration is low in victimhood, in poverty mindset, in lack mindset, in I'm so powerless, I'm so helpless, then the dark has won, right? You're not actually fighting. So what I mean, again, when I say fighting is your alignment. Your sword is your truth, your authenticity, right? Your shield is love, is gratitude. Okay? So armed, no, with all of that in mind, armed with the right plan, with the right focus, with the right alignment, boom, you are ready. This is telling me you're ready. This is telling me it's time. Okay? It's not only time, it's time to, this feels like true north to me, right? Direction guardian, choose your path, choose your adventure, choose your avatar, choose your alignment. What direction are you going? True north, what is your true north? What does it feel like? Does it feel inspired? Does it feel playful? What does your true north feel like, and where is it calling you forth? How is it calling you forth? But your soul, because the sun is kind of, to me, I'm reading it as the soul, the sun, right? Soul, sun, is guiding you, right? Your inner soul, your inner mission, your inner intuition, your inner knowing, your inner source is calling you to your true north. Okay? There's a lot in here. There's a lot in here, but I'm getting a lot of sun energy, Leo energy, and also there is a message in here about seeing from all directions, seeing not only a greater perspective, but seeing a greater perspective from many different vantage points, right? Seeing it from many vantage points. How can you expand your vision, your perception? And also, how can you center yourself even when you're seeing from all of these different vantage points? Because if you can see from all those different vantage points, from that higher perspective, from this perspective over here, from this perspective over here, from this, you actually become the center point, the 0 point. What else is coming up? Mountains, stand your ground. Stand your ground. This is actually coming through as when you are in that center point, when you are in your peace, your center point, right? Your 0 point. There's a reflection that happens, right? A reflection of that 0 point energy, a reflection of that neutrality that you have, that you hold. This feels like it reveals much more truth of who you are, of your being. But like also mountains represent or can represent a spiritual journey, a great spiritual feats, right? The hero's journey is what comes to mind, of that big long journey that we that we say yes to in order to become that next version, that next level version, to become the embodiment, right? To become the change we wish to see in the world. This speaks of a great feat with all of the reflection of the good, the bad, the neutral within it. The many multifaceted, the multifacets, because you're multifaceted, right? You're multidimensional. You don't just exist here, you exist in many dimensions. This also speaks to a higher spiritual journey that you may be on and you don't even realize it. But really, the mountains, in the overall message here in the stand your ground that we see here on the bottom of the card, it's more about being in that center 0 point, being able to see all of the things, the negative things, the positive things, and be able to hold that frequency of the 0 point. Who am I now? Who do I want to be now? How do I want to respond to this now? Not who was I in the past, and how did I respond in the past? Who am I now in this 0 point? Who am I now? How do I want to respond? How do I want to take action? How do I want to ground into a new version of Earth? How do I wish to set my trajectory up now in this moment? So it's also speaking to a level of frequency, a level of right vibration. What we say, raise your vibration. It's a level, it feels like a level of being able to maintain and hold a certain vibration, frequency, and be able to maintain that 0 point while we see the chaos, the other unfoldments, right, in the world that we're seeing. Stand your MF in ground, okay? And then we have bee medicine. We have summer, bask in joy and light. This not only just says summer, which says to me there is something significant in the summer months, but also bee medicine speaks of ancestors, of community, and of what type of hive mind are we tapping into? Are we tapping into? Because how do I want to word this? It's about that collective consciousness. Okay. Now we can collectively become a virus, which we've already seen. This is how we are where we are. Or we can tap into the collective consciousness of a more balanced nature with having integrated lessons of the past, right? To bring us into the ancestral wisdom that's been here for thousands and thousands of years. And I'm hearing the divine feminine is bringing that back, right? The rise of the divine feminine is actually bringing that back. Spreading your wings. Dipping into the honey, the sweetness, the nectar of life. And there's also something here that speaks of creating structures in your life that are supportive, that support your needs, right? That you support your flow, that support your growth. Needs is what I hear the loudest. So take it as it resonates. Okay. So next I actually drew, what did I draw? I drew these guys. So where do we want to go? Okay. All right. Which is interesting. We're going to balance all of this out, okay? So we have all of this light warrior energy, standing our ground, raising our vibration, holding that frequency, right? Being the master, aligning, holding that 0 point. Because there is malicious intent, right? Be mindful of those around you. Not all intentions are what they seem. Notice when the energy feels off, and use your discernment to gain better clarity. What stands out to me is read the energy. We can sit here and listen to pretty words disguised as whatever the F. But if you're an empath, if you're sensitive, you know when you sense bullshit. You know when you sense something ain't right. Even if you don't know, you can't put your finger on, or you can't quite articulate what exactly isn't right, just trust the fact that it doesn't feel right. That's what I do. I'm like, if it feels right, either until I gain better clarity or until I really realize what it is, I'm done. Or put it in my back pocket. All right, I see you. I clock it. I say, all right, if Source wants me to bring better clarity to me around it, or I need to actually pinpoint it for my my highest good, therefore humanity's highest good, then Source will do so. This basically says being able to sense when the energy is off, because we are in a new era. We are in a new era. We are in a new age. Now, I don't necessarily terribly resonate anymore with the term new age. It is what it is. However, practically speaking, we are in a new age. We're in the age of Aquarius, which, however many years ago, maybe 8 years ago now, I coined the term the age of empowerment. It's kind of how I see it, because we're reclaiming our power as humans, because we haven't been in our power. So I see this as the age of empowerment, when we're learning to sense and discern when the energy is off. When we're coming into this greater, we're not just listening to the pretty words and the pretty messaging and the pretty marketing. No siree, Bob. We can read the energy. And we might not be able to put our finger on it, but we know when something ain't right. We know best. We know, because we've learned, right? We've learned to back the fuck up. Learn to sense the energy. Learn to read the energy. And if the energy is off, let me tell you, you know what you're going to need to do. Okay? Trust your discernment. Trust your intuition. Again, here. This is funny. This is the 13 card, right? That says 13 right there. Is another 13. Warning. The road ahead is dark and foreboding. Hints of trials yet to come. This is your opportunity to reevaluate the situation and decide whether or not to proceed. Again, you need to learn how to read the energy. Because something can be packaged right, packaged pretty, say all the fucking right things. But guess what? If you're not discerning the energy and reading the energy underneath it, you could find yourself in a way of a hard lesson. But that's great too, because I mean, whether you win or whether you learn, it's all feedback for your growth. For you, my friend, for you, for your growth, your expansion. It's for you. Okay? So learn how to discern the energy and read what's underneath. Also, what I'm hearing is learn how to read between the lines. Learn to hear what's not being said. Okay? That's going to be a very valuable gift in this era. Especially as we illuminate all of the darkness, let's say the darkness, the evil. As we illuminate all of these things, we're going to need to be in our center point, in our heart, in our 0 point. We're also going to need to be able to respond responsibly. Respond Respond responsibly, which, if you can read into that, there's more information into that, but I'm hearing to leave that there for those who have the eyes to see. So, again, we have karmic ties. It's funny, all of these things are just coming up, right? You're entangled in a karmic dance, replaying lessons that demand resolution. Look deeper. This connection holds both challenge and purpose. So, this says to me, being able to read the energy, being able to discern, also being able to look deeper when there is a pattern repeating incessantly over and over, and for whatever reason you work on it and it doesn't seem to move, or it moves a little bit and it just never seems to really give way to true liberation. We need to be able to clock it and say, all right, what's going on here? So this is saying to me, it's time to release all your karmic ties. Okay? It's time to release those chains that are holding you, or that may feel familiar, or that may feel comfortable. It's time to release those bonds. As we were just in a 9-year and now we're in a 1-year. However, astrologically, we're not quite there yet. That kind of comes around in Aries season, right? We're still in the energy of karmic release. So you're still, even whenever you're seeing this, if you're seeing this, it's the right timing. Okay, just trust that for you to see this. It's time to wrap that shit up. It's time to wrap that shit up. 22 on the clock when I said that. It's time to wrap that shit up. Otherwise, I'm getting a lot of things. Otherwise, number one, the trajectory that you're on, you're basically choosing not to be on the highest timeline. Okay, that's basically kind of what I'm hearing. Now, with all of this karmic ties and the warning and the being able to discern energy, this is also a blessing in disguise. Okay? What feels like loss or failure is actually a blessing in the grander scheme of things. Though the meaning of this moment may still be unclear, its purpose will ultimately be revealed with time. To me, I'm actually hearing the lessons, the life lessons. Sometimes those lessons, they're hard. They're hard earned. I know that. Boy, do I know that. I've learned a lot of really hard lessons multiple times, which means I wasn't getting the lesson. And I've had to recapitulate and review all of these times where I just wasn't quite getting it. And that's if you do the work, and it's my intention to attract the people that are doing the work. You do the work, you know. It's not always easy to see those things, to have those things come to light and be confronted with all of the emotions, all of the past experiences and interactions, and all of the beliefs and the thoughts that have shaped that reality. It's not always easy. But it is a great blessing, because when you integrate that lesson into your life and you say, okay, I'm changing. This is the new me. All right, these are my new boundaries. These are my new set points. This is my new standards, whatever it is. Even in the example of, all right, now I've learned boundaries. Now I need to set up boundaries here for myself. Now I need to set up boundaries here for myself. That's the blessing. Okay, that's the diamond, that's the gold. That's also how you're able to alchemize and transmute all of these karmic energies and all of these lower vibrations into wisdom, which is high alchemy. It's high magic. Okay, The blessing is that you're coming into your power as a high fucking magician. Yeah. Yeah. Powerful times, my friend. Powerful times. Okay. As far as timing, we have the Moonology deck. The first card that came out is this full moon in Aries. Again, I was talking about that Aries season, right? We're not really in that new one energy, or that one, was it one? Numerologically speaking, we're not in that one energy just yet. Now, if you're sensitive, you kind of feel, if you're sensitive like me, I still feel in the middle of it, like, holy cow, this is a lot. But it's also giving you time to purge, right? And to excavate and divest yourself of all of that bullshit. But what it says here is a fiery climax approaches. To me, that says, actually, I get like a fiery climax. Yes. It's also setting the stage for very profound action, very profound anchoring and embodiment, very profound time to take the exact inspired actions, right? Aries is that, let's go, boom, let's go. But, if we've learned the lessons, if we've learned those lessons and integrated them, we can go forth with clarity. Instead of just like a baby Aries might do, is just go forth, like almost like the Fool card, of going forth and not having any kind of direction, any kind of focus, right? Because what we wanted here, what the maiden here is bringing, is focus, right? This is going to help you focus. Those lessons are going to help you focus, okay? Watch out for, and this, I know this says the full moon in Aries. I actually looked. We won't have our full moon in Aries until September of this year in 2026, but there are auspiciously 2 new moons in Aries, one in March, one in April. So I would look to the new moons and the full moons in Aries as a marker, is what I'm hearing, of when there's going to be these very significant shifts in energy, okay? Because it's time to take action in that space. Again, we have, okay, then we had a new start is coming, right? We're talking about, boom, new beginnings. Well, it says a fiery climax, right? But that's going to give way to a new beginning, a new moon. This feels like a clean slate, right? Away from these karmic ties, and very big, and not necessarily away from these energies, but being able to clock them, to see them, to be like, oh, yep, I got you, I see you, and hold the balance, hold the 0 point, yeah? So a new start is coming. This actually feels like a new you, a new identity. And that can be really scary because the old identity doesn't want to die. So this does also come with a bit of a death here. But again, it's a blessing in disguise. The old always has to die, or there has to be some kind of sacrifice in order for the new, right? We got to let go. Just like if we're wanting to clean up our space and release some things so that the new can come in, right? Something always needs to be let go for the new to come in. We have to be able to make space, okay? With that, hold your vision. Hold your vision. This is just a fixed moon, So hold your vision in that, right? Make plans, focus, hold your vision. And then this is like my favorite. This is new moon in Virgo, a time to give rather than take. Again, we have these new moons, right? These new moons. New start. And if this is in Virgo, this is saying, to me, it's saying new form of stability, new support. Support you couldn't even fathom in your old identity. New support. Also a new, let me fill into this. Because Virgo is also about the body and humanitarian efforts, which is also Aquarius, which is bringing an Aquarius for me too. There seems to be also a renewed sense, a renewed joy, a renewed way to embody. So you might change your look, change your clothes. It was 31:31 when I said change your look on the clock. This also says divine feminine, the rise of the divine feminine to me. Because this, if you look at her, she's supported. She don't give no fucks. And not even that she doesn't give any fucks. She's in her peace. She is in her 0 point. She is present. She can relax. She knows where she's going. She has her plans. She's supported. She's not in lack. She's not in victimhood. Girl, no. She's in her divine feminine essence as the leader of the new earth. All right. The last cards are, I used the Dragon Oracle to ask what type of overseeing, overlighting energies are with us at this time. And I was called to the dragons because the dragons are waking up. If you know, you know. If the dragons are waking up and they clean in house. They're cleaning house, but they're also we're also waking up as the dragon, as the one who's going to clean house, as the one who takes radical responsibility, as the one who says, no more bullshit, no more lying in our faces. We came to take this back. We came here to bring balance. Okay? So they're not just overlighting forces. I would also encourage you to feel into them as aspects of you and of your own character, of your own soul that are waking up. Okay? All right. So first we have the orange dragon, brings soul families and communities together. Again, this actually brings me to that card. Ooh, we're clearing some energies. It brings me to the new moon and Virgo card. Communities, families. Okay. It also brings me to the direction, right? Going in the right direction, moving in the right direction, aligning to the right direction. But this is also saying soul families coming in. Communities are coming together because at this time we're going to have to. We can no longer be divided on stupid shit. We can't. Otherwise, we're going to only be a hand or have a hand in our own destruction. So it's time to release. It feels like this dragon is here to help us come together in communities and help us release old, outdated beliefs, structures, curses, programs, spells, things like that around that have distorted or given us certain experiences, certain karmic experiences that have distorted our lenses when it comes to relationships, communities, family, right? Being in community, being in unity with others. So there's a lot of shedding still here that I'm feeling with this card. You know, we got the orange dragon, so this is like all sacral. Feeling like that womb is being cleaned out so that you can actually receive the love of an aligned family unit, whether that's soul family, whether that's chosen family, whether that's blood family, whatever it is that you're balancing. So take that how it resonates. The next ones that came out were actually the earth and air dragon, which represents a perfect balance of heaven and earth. Again, that brings me to like the direction of being the 0 point. Balance. You are here to bring the balance to earth. Yes, we live in polarity. Yes, the law of polarity is very real. We live in polarity. We live in duality. That doesn't mean we need to polarize the shit out of everything and live in it every day. Contrarily, actually what that means is we want to integrate the darkness, not push it away. We need to integrate it so we can balance it. This is just a little high alchemy. Just a little bit. It's actually very profound. You know, I have my little jokes, but it's actually a very profound shift. It's a very profound, significant shift internally if we're literally being supported to balance earth and air, right? There's a balance there that's happening between the crown and the root. So there's a profound balance that's happening internally. 0 point. Where's your 0 point? Okay. Stay balanced, ground your visions, manifest your hopes and dreams. Again, that takes me back to make plans and focus. Your shield, gratitude, your sword, truth. Speak your motherfucking truth. It's time to just say the fucking things. It's time to, obviously, within reason, within balance, you know, you got to use your discernment of how to do that and how to show up in that. But really, it's time to say the things. It's time to speak in your truth. It's time to be in your truth. It's time to be embodied. Because now is the time to fucking go. And to do it. There's no more fucking time. There's no more time to think about it or to plan or to heal. Girl, you're going to have to heal and get on your shit. And like, you know, learn how to balance that. Because it's going to be a part of life anyway. Okay. Water dragon helps you flow easily around obstacles. Christ's light and love are flowing. Develop your psychic abilities. Go with the flow. This says to me, ooh, I'm seeing how all of these old pillars, they're breaking, right? The old structures are breaking. All of the old illusions are breaking down. And this dragon is going to come in to help you flow around all these obstacles, right? The karmic fucking ties, all of this other bullshit energy of malicious intent and all those other things is going to help you be like, whoop, flow like water, bitch. Flow like water. Miss me with that shit. It's going to help you flow. So there's the water aspect. And I'm even hearing or feeling Bruce Lee come in here of be like water, flow like water, right? You are the container. Flow. You can be any container. Allow it to flow. You know, if you pour water in a glass, it holds the structure of the glass. If you pour it out, guess what? It disperses. So how? This also says a lot about emotions. How are you allowing your emotions to flow or not? Because restricting them, or actually even going into chaos or into hopelessness around all of the structures and the things being destroyed. It's imploding all in on itself. But how are you in that 0 point field that is the heart? How are you flowing? Are you allowing yourself to bypass with all, too much love and light bullshit? Or do you find yourself going into helplessness? Do you find yourself feeling like I'm a victim? I don't have any power. Those old power structures are dissolving. So too are those same reflections within you. They're going with it. So it's sparking up a little fear, sparking up those really deep, some subconscious fears and shadows that you haven't seen. You haven't looked. Maybe you haven't looked at until now. And so it's time to face that fear and really allow yourself to balance and find balance in your emotional body, right? Within your emotions. Okay? And last but not least, here we have Thor's red, black, and gold dragon. Protects you in times of change. This is massive upheaval, massive transition, massive transformation on a global level. We're talking about human consciousness taking leaps and bounds forward. But we need to do that balanced. We need to do that in balance of the left and the right? The feminine, the masculine, and the upper and the lower. Heaven and earth. We need to be the balance point in the middle. Up, down, left, right, balance here. Yeah. Which is where the elephant's third eye is on my shirt. Protects you in times of change. A time of rapid transition and transformation. Relax, you are safe. You are being guided every step of the way. Trust that you're safe, you're secure, you've made it this far, and you've had doubts and uncertainties and what ifs, what happens, but you're here, right? But you're fucking watching this video, girl. Yeah, you here, you made it. Yeah, these times are very, very chaotic, and there's a massive purge going on within the earth herself, within us, because we are the earth herself. Massive transformation, massive transition. But you're still safe. This says to me also, in working with this energy, it's also creating. To me, this also says we got to work to create that internal feeling of safety. Because there are some of us out here that don't feel safe, that don't feel secure because we grew up in very volatile households. Raise your hand if you're one of those people. Very volatile households, and we didn't know what was coming at any given time, and we might have to walk on eggshells, or we might have to hide ourselves away, or we might have to, go hide ourselves just to feel safe. And so if you're doing the work, you've had to really allow yourself time and space to cultivate that inner feeling, inner sanctum, inner sanctuary that's safe. Safety comes from within, not from without. The governments ain't gonna guarantee you safety. Oh yeah, da 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 da. And the, what is it? The NSA, the security, whatever the fuck it is. That shit ain't secure. That's control, girl. That's control. That's the old control systems. True safety is cultivated within. By holding your parts, by talking to your inner child, by doing the inner work, whatever inner work that is, whether it's inner child work, whether it's healing, whether it's, I can't even think of all of the things. But if you know, you know. And this is this Thor's red, black, and gold dragon. You might want to call on this dragon to help you cultivate feeling of safety. Especially if you don't feel safe. Especially if you feel like you might be vulnerable to the powers that were. Because these are old structures. They trying with all their might to hang on and still suppress and prove that they have power over you. They don't. It's all an illusion. It was all spell work and programming. It was all very, very genius strategy and marketing and programming through television and movies and whatever else, radio, well, now social. It's all an illusion. Your safety is here. You say whether you're safe or whether you're not. Don't let anybody else convince you otherwise, because once they convince you, honey, all they need is your permission to co-create that reality with you. Okay? That is our message for today. Cultivate your focus. Remain in your 0 point. Whatever that you got to do. You know, sometimes we need to express that. Sometimes we need to rein that shit in. Balance, right? Discern the energy. Read the energy. Might be pretty and dressed pretty and all that. What's the energy telling you? The energy is off. Get the fuck away right quick. Right quick. Don't even give yourself time to be like, oh, what's that? Fuck that. No. Say, nope. If God wants it wants me to have more clarity on this, cool, that's great, but nope. Refocus. Come back here, your 0 point. Find yourself. We got new beginnings coming. Fiery climaxes coming. Hold your vision. That divine feminine is rising. Allow your divine feminine to rise. Right? We have all of this support available at our beck and call. Utilize it wisely, my friend. Take advantage of it in the best way. Don't take it for granted. Take advantage of it for your highest good, so that you may, in turn, serve the collective, and therefore it's for everyone's highest and best good. I'm hearing to leave this message here. As far as if you would like to work with me, I'm going to have readings. I'm going to have a couple of really potent, very powerful ways to work with me. And I'm not sure if those things are going to be released at the time that these are coming out, because I'm recording these in advance. So I have no idea. But I will have very powerful offerings that I will be, that I'm currently cultivating and curating so that I can be of the highest service. Okay? So I can be of the highest service to you. So I can be just in my soul purpose as a starseed, a light worker, as a wanderer that came here to help humanity empower itself, remember who the fuck it is. And I do that by helping you remember who the fuck you are, aligning with your soul, and showing you all the shadows, showing you all the bullshit that you might still be entertaining, ways of playing small, ways of dimming your light, so that others around you can be comfortable. Fuck that. We're not doing that. We're not playing in that. We're not even in that same game anymore. So if you're still in that game, I encourage you to drop it, to drop the stories of victimhood. However, that's not to say that that's always just the easiest fucking thing. If you need a heal and you need a mentor or you need a healer or whatever it is, then look for them. Then take the action to align with that inner vision and that medicine that you know you need to find the appropriate teacher, the appropriate mentor, the appropriate guide. Whether that's me or whether that's someone else, my love, that is up to you. I love you. Until next time, remain in your light. Remain in your darkness. Remain in your 0 point. I love you.